Welcome back. Well, Elon Musk says he has some regrets about his explosive back and forth with President Trump on social media last week, but can their friendship be saved? Fox's Rebecca Castor has the latest from our nation's capital.
Elon Musk is apologizing after his intense and very public falling out with the president. Writing on X, "I regret some of my posts about President Donald Trump last week. They went too far." And Trump appears open to reconciling.
Do you think, could you forgive him?
I guess I could, but, we have to straighten out the country.
Yeah.
And my sole function now is getting this country back to a level higher than it's ever been.
According to the New York Times, Musk called the president Monday night before publicly expressing his regret. He went off on Trump in a series of posts last Thursday, at one point calling for his impeachment and suggesting he's implicated in the Epstein files, posts that have since been deleted. It all stems from Musk's disappointment in the so-called Big Beautiful Bill.
Look, I have no hard feelings. I was really surprised that happened. He went after a bill that's phenomenal.
The bill encompasses many of Trump's campaign promises, including increased border security and no tax on tips. But it's also estimated to add trillions to the national deficit.
Republicans pride themselves as the supposed party of fiscal responsibility. But this bill they have belongs on the Mount Rushmore of fiscally irresponsible bills.
If there's any sign of letting bygones be bygones, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the administration is not currently reviewing any of Elon Musk's government contracts. At the White House, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
State leaders say Trump's tariffs is hurting trade and tourism in our state, and it seems the U.S. trade policy is continuously shifting. At ports in Seattle and Tacoma, inbound container traffic dropped in May due to mass cancellations of shipments. We spoke to the Port of Seattle commissioner who broke down the numbers and the impacts it has passed beyond trade.
In the first quarter of 2025, the gateway was up 18% in container volumes, and that kind of continued through the month of April. April was an up year compared to last year in April, but we started seeing the volumes dip significantly in the month of May. So for instance, between the last week of April and the first week of May, we saw a 30% decrease in container volumes. So when you have less volume, that means two things: less shifts for the longshoremen that are moving those containers, and less turns for truck drivers. So for instance, if you have 2,000 containers that are not coming to the port, that's potentially a whole shift for the longshoremen, and 2,000 truckers who aren't getting trucks put onto their chassis to deliver them. And then there's the effect of the entire supply chain for the warehouse workers and everyone in between.
We mentioned tourism earlier, which did take a hit, especially from Canadians boycotting the U.S. over President Trump's tariffs and his comments about making Canada the 51st state.